Here we are on the
we-
Marjo-Riikka show. I'm so honored to be your first guest
Thank you.
ever.
I feel like people are marvelous, and you are one of those marvelous people and marvelous actors
You're
and
the
artists.
most marvelous. But you've assembled just like a whole crew of walking pieces of art because you know how to facilitate it, you know how to find it in people. You can really tap into people's intuition and creative capacities because you have that too. So
Yeah.
right back at you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. As you know, I'm an actor like you and like pretty much everyone in your studio. I think from a very young age, I've been driven towards narrative art. So anything that has to do with storytelling, anything, whether it's in person, on stage, or in front of a camera, anything that kind of amplifies real life moments or the really juicy, interesting tidbits of life and brings us closer to understanding other people. That really fascinates me.
Yeah.
And some of the most magnetic people out there, I think, are artists who can translate that sort of real life emotion into a narrative, a story that sometimes you can just watch and go, wow, I feel like, you know, I'm living deeper than regular life. I'm feeling beyond that. I feel transcended. That's the word.
Yes.
So, you know, when I came to you as an actor, I was definitely in a place in my career and my life where I was feeling extremely unsure of myself, feeling really like I wasn't telling the story. I was just living in my head. And I was particularly looking for an acting methodology that doesn't use too much thinking power. You know what I mean? Because I know that whatever I was doing at university, it wasn't really making me better. My professors were telling me, Kaitlyn, you're getting worse. And we don't know what's happening because you were good when you first auditioned. And I said, well, I'm just doing the homework. I'm just doing what you guys told me to do. But I think at some point there is such a thing as over-intellectualization.
Yeah.
Over-intellectualization.
Yeah.
So I wanted to find someone who could help me get out of my head and back into my body, back into the real world, and discover those five senses, right? So I was doing research, a lot of research into Chekhov because I had discovered Chekhov. But yet none of the Chekhov instructors I'd worked with had really tapped into that. Not as focused into like character work that I wanted to be, or they were over into like intellectualization.
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse me. They were over intellectualizing
Yeah.
the method. So when I found you, and I could go into it more later, I
Yeah.
really felt like you were someone who understood what it means to be there and how to unlock that. I don't know how we got here, but
Yeah, no, I told you to riff off.
yeah,
You
I'm
like
just
riff off.
going, yeah.
I was just watching a clip that we shot together, and it reminded me of like, first of all, how talented you are and how like little anyone needs to do except just allow you to breathe and find yourself in the here and now with your image on a fellow actor or something, and it all just like we are at the best when we are free to live in that moment as the character and whatever method or technique it is. And you are my first guest because I've always appreciated you as an artist. And also because we've connected, we've gone through, like, we've created things together in class. It's always been strong. And I always say, I don't know if you remember me saying this in class, because sometimes we don't hear when somebody says something good about us.
That's
So,
true.
you know, like it just passes, and the critic we hear.
Yeah.
But I've said many times in class, oh, I wish everybody would see this.
Right.
I want all directors and all audiences to see your work.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons. But the other reason why you are my first guest is that I've also found that you're a very wise human being with a golden heart. Those people tend to find this space also, and we have long history.
Yeah,
and we've even had a moment of like, and then we sort of what we did, we communicated through that moment, which is always, it makes it more valuable even because in creativity, I think, I don't know if it's called conflict, but like there's this moment of like, are we gonna stay connected when it's a little bit difficult?
The threat of disconnection.
Yeah. And then we found connection, and then I felt very honored that you decided to remain connected even at that moment.
Yeah, I think as a testament to you as a communicator and someone who has an ability to translate difficult emotions into words and get that across. That is really an art that I think many instructors and teachers would need in order to reach as many people as they want. And that's something that you're able to adeptly do on an international scale, you know? This is an international studio, right?
Do a similar walk, but it would be just a couple of steps. Just getting that place of like lady's life before Val shows up. Like when she the first phone call, kind of letting that live a little bit in you, and then stepping, you know, the whole that thing that happened in the beginning. There's sensations, atmospheres, and then finding your way in the moment where she will receive a jacket, because that's like a really defining moment for her. First time feeling warm and cared for and stuff. It's just fun. We'll see what happens. Or just even the actor's journey on stepping into the unknown.
Should I put on the jacket at a certain
We'll have your Val has it still, so
Okay.
he will give it to you.
Okay, sounds good.
Just like as an exercise on this one, that you will, since it's the last class,
Okay.
do this. We had beginning, middle, and end, and in the beginning you really gave yourself time. This is like a reminder for your body. What if there's no result? There's just a journey, and the journey will be the result.
All right, sounds good.
So just having time for your journey as an artist.
Did you want me to walk forward or stay stationary?
Take a couple of steps to just tell your body that you're first stepping into the possibilities and honoring your artist,
Okay.
and then stepping into the lady's experience. And whatever shows up
Yeah.
is perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, they burned it up one summer.
What? Who burned it up?
An outfit in this county called the Mystic Crew. They rode out there one night with
Yeah.
Okay.
So whenever you give time, you're giving a gift for me
Okay.
and for her.
And I want to give you guys gifts.
Yeah, you are a gift.
Oh, I
Yeah,
okay.
you are the
Okay.
gift.
My time is
Yeah, exactly. When you allow
Okay.
time, it's a gift.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. And then if it wants to go fast, like it wanted someplace, that's fine too.
Okay.
You are in control of time.
Sounds good.
Yeah, beautiful.
My father, he had an orchard on Moon Lake.
Hmm.
He made a wine garden of it. We had 15 little white arbors with tables in them, and they were covered in grapevines. We sold Dago red wine and bootleg whiskey and beer.
Mm.
It's great. They burned it up one summer.
What? Who burned it up?
An outfit in this county called the Mystic Crew. They rode over one night with a blowtorch and gallons of coal oil, and they set the whole thing on fire. And I want you to know that not a single fire engine in this county rode out of the station that night. And my papa, he took a blanket and he ran up into the orchard to try and fight the fire, single-handed. And he burned alive in it. He burned alive. And I heard him scream in the orchard. I run. When I fell, and I saw him running towards me with his clothes on fire.
Oh my God.
Whenever I look a man in this face in this county, I wonder if he was one of them that set our orchard on fire. You know, whether it's in Finland or here in the US, I think you're subtly and dramatically using your powers of communication and intuition to, in little ways, touch people around the world, people who are ready for it. And like you said earlier, you were saying, you know, all you had to really do is be teaching people presence. And I think you have a unique way of being able to translate a potentially complex concept into something very simple, you know, and something that's like not even your native language too. So that's very impressive. And again, you know, I always tell people about you. I say, oh, there's an acting teacher I've been working with for years. And I just think she's fantastic. She's one of the best teachers I've ever worked with, you know.
That's so
And I've
sweet.
had some pretty good teachers, you know, but like you're one of them for sure. Yeah.
You're so sweet. Can we put the attention, the lights back
like,
on
okay,
Kaitlyn
anyways,
a
let's
little
talk
bit?
about you.
No, I actually, you know, it always gives. It is wonderful to hear this, and yet, and thank you. I really do appreciate it. I would like to learn more. I know something about you, but learn more and allow people to learn more about you.
Okay.
What does Kaitlyn love?
Ooh.
And obviously,
Yeah.
these are big questions.
Big,
so we
yeah,
can go
yeah.
superficially, or we can go a
Yeah.
little bit deeper, or we can go really deep together.
Right,
Yeah, I think
right.
we're gonna.
Can I ask you maybe a clarifying question?
Yeah,
When
of
you
course.
ask what does Kaitlyn love, is there any particular subject that you're referring to? Do you
like
mean
a framework?
Yeah, framework. Yeah.
So maybe, perhaps not even, but we
Okay.
could start with the arts. But then if it's gonna go somewhere, we could
Right.
start with family. Yeah, maybe there is. What came to your mind first?
I think I was thinking about art and movies or something like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I love movies. I think most people are exposed to television and film from a very young age,
Yeah.
and music and things like that. But there was a time around the age of, I want to say, maybe around the age of 12, where I started discovering like VHS tapes around my parents' house, you know, and I was thinking, let me watch some of this, let me watch some of that. And like I said, of course, I had grown up on like cartoons, and, you know, I remember watching Titanic in the theaters and being like, oh, this is amazing. But to be able to find a VHS on your own, watch it again and again for hours and study it, I think that was a transformative point in my life. I remember it was like before I was gonna be in 6th grade or something. It was like the summer before 6th grade. I discovered, you know, the depth that you can go with enjoying movies, watching it 5, 6, 7 times in a row. And that's when I started wandering off by myself. I was too young to be doing that, but I started going to movie theaters by myself to just watch movies, you know. I don't know what my dad was thinking, just letting me go out, but I would go and I would be out for hours, and then I would go to the bookstore and I would stay there till nighttime just reading books, immersing myself in a world of make-believe. Because like I said earlier, I think for me, with some people's particular upbringing, the world of movies or the world of fiction or make-believe can feel more real and more tantalizing than obviously humdrum everyday real life.
Yeah.
From there, as a young child, I had always, you know, I loved drawing. Like most children love being able to create something out of their head and put it in the real world.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you ask a kid, okay, would you like to draw? They always say, yes, you know, usually.
Yeah.
Usually.
Unless they've been told that they're bad at
Unless
it.
they're
Yeah.
told, no, you can't express yourself. But I always loved drawing. And then when I started reading and getting older, I started writing more. I would write poetry. I would write I would always try to write a novel when I was a kid. I could never finish it, of course, but I would try. And I would try to write little plays, and I would see little music videos in my head. When I would listen to my Walkman, listen to pop music, I started seeing flashes of, I don't know what's happening, but I'm seeing people and they're in dramatic situations. And then I used to think, oh, wouldn't it be nice to be a filmmaker? But, you know, I would think, but you know, that's impossible. I couldn't do that. I'm not smart enough. I don't have money. I don't even know how machinery works. And when I was in high school, I watched a news segment that said the vast, vast majority of filmmakers are men. It's very tough for a woman to break into the industry. And I remember thinking, well, there you go. That's your sign. Don't do it. Why bother? You know, no one would pay attention to your work because you're just not capable or smart enough.
What do you think now?
I'm a little bit more confident in my abilities. obviously the world is changing. So when you see other women or women of color in positions of power behind the camera or in front of the camera, or entrepreneurs in general, you think, okay, maybe I can do it. Maybe I do have the support system or the education. I never went to film school. I never got a creative writing degree.
But you are writing.
Yeah,
You're a writer.
I write
You have
too.
a book published in
Oh yeah,
Barcelona?
it's a graphic novel, and our second graphic novel comes out next month. I'm with a comic book company called Cuento Comics, and it's published through Clover Press. But yeah, so sorry, I'm like fast forwarding now. I decided to go into narrative from an acting and a writing and directing standpoint, and then I kind of got caught up in kind of the publishing world, like being an author and things like that. But yeah, it's a little easier now, but of course there's always moments of self-doubt where you think, you know, I'm right now querying agents who would represent me in the children's book publishing world, and I've only gotten rejections, and every time and you know, as an actor, most of the time it's just rejections. And even submitting to my films to festivals and submitting to writing labs and to fellowships with screenplays, it's just one rejection after the other. And if you don't have money, it's even worse, because then you can't keep applying to these programs. But I'm getting to a point in my life where, you know, the love of narrative and the love of film and the love of theater and the love of the written word is, I'm realizing it's far more important to me than trying to make it or be someone or prove something to someone. There is nothing to prove.
Yes.
And that's something you always tell us, like, you're already here. You've already made it.
Yeah, exactly. So you have like multitudes of talent because you sing. I've heard you sing. You're an amazing singer. You write. You're an amazing writer. You're an amazing actor. So how interesting that you would say, like, I don't know if I always believed in myself, but I can relate to this. We need somebody to reflect back to see, like, the way I see you, I wish you'd see yourself. And and I think we all need that. I think especially as women. It's not like a habit of the world being always like, you know, oh, go do whatever you want. That hasn't been like the...
It's kind of like a play. When you see a really good play and you feel transcended, in a way, you feel a little bad for the actors because you realize they have no idea how good they are because they can't sit where I'm sitting and see how amazing they are. And the director and the writer can never see how, maybe the writer, because they're probably just sitting there, but especially the actors, they can never see how good they are. And as a musician, as a singer, by the time you're, you know, recording things or performing live a bunch of times, you don't know how you come off anymore, right? You're in your head about, okay, was that good enough? But you maybe don't realize how you touch people with your music. And I think writers have it really hard because most mediums of art, you can, for example, if I painted this, which I didn't, and I put up in a gallery, you could look at it within a second, know if you like it or not, generally. Or if it's good enough or not. If you don't like it, you go, ooh, and then you keep walking. With a book or a movie, someone has to invest time. Like they have to sit down, especially for a book, you have to spend at least a few days reading it. And
it feels like not so many people are reading books
most
anymore.
people won't do that. Our attention spans are shot, right? And then the ones who do invest and they don't like it, they're gonna be ultra angry. That's why people write really angry reviews online. This was the worst movie I ever saw. I want my 2 hours back. I want my money back. And this book was awful. I want my money back. What a snore, you know? So for things like that, long format pieces of art that you have to consume, it can be, number one, really hard to get people to invest at all. Number two, really crushing when people don't like it and have an emotional reaction. And number three, difficult to find when someone does like it. Someone would have to write a review or go to your booth at a convention and say, I loved what you did. Generally, you don't get that. Whereas if you sing or paint, you can immediately get immediate feedback in real life. So acting, I would say, is like kind of in the middle.
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
a lot of people with our attention spans, they're not going to sit down to even watch a scene. They want a quick scroll.
Yeah,
They want like
yeah,
an Instagram
yeah,
video.
yeah.
But when you capture someone with your acting, if they can sit down and watch the movie, watch the play, invest.
If you hold them,
if you can hold their attention,
Yeah.
and you're good, they're gonna love you.
Yeah.
They'll say you had my attention
Yeah.
for all those. Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about one thing that you love.
Yeah.
Is there something that you hope? Like if you were to dream big, I mean, I guess world peace might be one of
Without
those
getting
things.
political. Yeah.
But like in the world of art, maybe if we stay in that, is
Okay.
there like a dream or if
Yeah.
you could dream, whatever?
I think my hope right now is that not to get, again, like political or technological with the rise of AI.
And you can if you want
Yeah. My hope is that we will have a new renaissance. There will be a focus back on the human
to. Yeah.
being the center of our worlds, because we're already starting to see it. People's jobs are getting replaced in the market by generative AI. Machines and computers and artificial intelligence can do so much more than like one person can. And then I hope that at some point we'll say, what's the point of it all? Right?
Yeah.
And we'll come back and rediscover who we are as human beings. People will go, on the way here, I was driving, I was like, I think people are going to start going to theater again. They want real
Yeah.
human connection.
Because unless we want to become machines.
Unless you want to live like in the pandemic where we're just separated, isolated, and becoming machines.
Yeah.
I think people are going to want to go back to live spaces. We're going to want to go back to theater. We're going to want to hear real voices, see real faces on the screen. And you're also seeing it, there's a sort of romanticization of the past. People are going to Renaissance fairs again. People want to do cottagecore. They want to live off the grid. They want to live in the countryside.
Yeah.
They want to wear dresses and bake bread and sew, milk cows.
Yeah.
They want to go back to that old school agrarian lifestyle where times were simpler. People were real. I think the whole, like, I don't really do this, but I know everyone's really into like dating apps or whatever. They're going to be like, screw that, like let's just go out and go to a bar, go to a pub and mingle.
Yeah.
At least I hope. That's my hope.
Yeah.
As I was saying, in university, there was this thing where my professors were saying, what's going on with you, Kaitlyn? I was given the impression that they knew when I came in that I had talent. They said, you're the first person that we put in our program. But we don't.
nice.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's nice. But then they said, we don't know what's going on. You're just in your head. You're locked in. It's the energy and the feelings, emotions, and thoughts are not being externalized. And with theater, that can be especially difficult because you're trying to reach the back row, right?
Yeah.
So because I was in a place where I think I was still trying to prove something to the world. I was trying to prove something to myself.
Yeah.
I was like 20,
Yeah.
So I was getting hard on myself. I dropped the program. I was just getting too stressed out. Then after college, I spent a few years in limbo thinking, I can't do this acting thing. Then when I was 24, some people talked some sense into me and said, what have you to lose? Just do it, right? And then in a weird way, I became anxious about prove myself, make it, do something. And for years, I would just sit in my room and like read these monologues, and I would tape myself over and over and over again. And I would watch the tapes and I would say, this is crap. Like, what is going on? I don't know what I'm doing. So then I would subtly try to shift something and I would think, it's not working. And then of course, because I was so in my head, I was too nervous to practice in front of people. So I couldn't get real-time feedback. So I started scouring the internet. I also was going through some weird things with my singing voice where I felt like I was having vocal problems. So I would pick up teacher after teacher after teacher after teacher and ask them, like, can you fix me? Can you help me? Like, emphasis on the fix. Can you fix me? Can you make me better, right? And, people would say, oh, yeah, you just have to do this. Or people would say, oh, you just got to work on that. I thought, something's not clicking. And then it wasn't until years later where I got a diagnosis that I had OCD, where I would just kind of have the same tics and intrusive thoughts and compulsions over and over, where I would think I could control something or fix something if I just thought hard enough. But it's funny because in acting, you're like, no, like we actually want to do the opposite. We want to get away from the thinking You just want to be. A baby isn't born thinking. The baby doesn't think, oh, how should I cry? How should I approach this crying note? The baby cries. The baby exists and the baby is. So when when we crossed paths, I thought, okay, maybe this lady can help me stop thinking so much. And people sit there. Like for someone who needs like a starting point, a base, it does help to choose a character for them that kind of already naturally matches their energy.
Yeah.
And if you don't pay attention to people and their personalities and their energy, you might say, well, what does that mean? I don't understand. But when you really get to know people on an intimate level and you see all the different shades of gray in someone's personality, you can start seeing energy.
Yeah.
You can see some people have more externalized energy. Some have energy that's flowing inwards. Some people have, they have spikes in their personality. Some people have a smooth, like chill, relaxed energy. Some people speak at a rapid clip, at a pace. Some people slur their words. Legato, staccato, right?
Flowing or flying.
Yeah. Some people are airy. Some people are trapped in their heads. Some people are in their bodies. Start seeing visual imagery for people's energy. And then what I found for myself is that when I was younger and more inexperienced, I could play bubbly. I could play like excited, ditzy, like crazy, weird. And then I could play angry. For some reason. And I had a teacher that said, well, that's because, you have a very sort of like externalized personality, so it's easier for you to tap into explosive anger. But other types, like, oh my gosh, I was always getting like ingenue types or I had a teacher, he was very interesting. He would say, you need to play more simple. You're not playing simple. You're playing complex. It's too much. There were some types that I realized, why am I really struggling to play this? It's just acting, right? I should say the words. And I realized the energy of these characters were very different from the energy that I developed in life. But there's a way around that. I used to think I needed to go through intense psychological processes like method acting, like Meisner technique, everything to like transform my brain. And then when I discovered Chekhov, I realized you don't have to do any of that. Acting is acting. You can put on a coat or jewelry or a piece of makeup, right? To give the suggestion of a different energy.
Yeah.
Even through movement alone.
Yeah, quality of movement changes who you are.
The color of it. If you can imagine different colors or sensations or textures. In a weird way, we do this in singing too. If you want, like they say, can you give me a bright tone, a dark tone, a chocolatey tone, a light feathery tone? Can you think of going up? Can you think of going down? Similar to acting.
I remember you were doing the scene with the phone last summer.
Tell me, because I'm already forgetting.
The way you were touching the phone and picking it up, whether it was hot or cold.
Sort of banging it.
Yeah, or like, was it slow or was it fast? And every time it wonderfully, just that like leading sensation of the movement made your acting, like the character was brought alive in different nuances.
Right.
Like sure, Kaitlyn was there.
Yeah.
Your body was there, but the energy is like how quickly and easily it was changed.
Yeah, for example, if I say, this is my regular speaking voice, but I can quack like a duck, or I can talk like Minnie Mouse. You're putting on a character and you're just kind of changing where the resonance in your voice is. Similarly, you can change the resonance of where your emotions are coming from by putting yourself into a shape or a character. And around the time that I met you, when I was really struggling to find myself, I came across a YouTube video. It was Alan Cumming. He was being interviewed kind of like this. And they were saying, Alan Cumming, what's your secret to acting? And he said, you know what? It's like actually very simple. Remember when you were a kid on the playground and you were just pretending to be a dinosaur?
Yeah.
That's it.
You just embody it.
That's it. Just, you're a dinosaur. You're a dragon. And then everyone's like, oh, you have such fiery breath. Oh, this dragon is going to take me away. That's it. He's like, we forget to play as adults. We forget to just be. And whatever form that being is, it's true. It's true to you. You don't have to put on anything. We are not doing complex mathematical formulas.
Because we are complex.
Because we're enough.
So keep it simple.
Keep
with
it simple.
The complexities
Keep it simple.
are there.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
And that was also hard for like film, because you know how the camera picks up everything. And again, I think in real life, I do a lot of expressions. And when there was a character I had to play that was maybe more stoic or more grounded, I used to think, okay, relax your face, relax your face, relax your face, relax your face. And it felt very unnatural. But when you embody that whole thing, let's say like, I'm half marble, half granite.
Exactly. Then you can, there you go. It's as if you are like, woo.
You feel the energy. You're like, oh, what was going on there? So, I really like that. Not that I'm a casting director. I do think it would be a fun role, though, don't you think? Like working in casting, seeing people's energies and asking, like, can you bring out that energy?
Yeah.
What's a good match for you?
And it's typecasting as always like
it is like old school typecasting.
But the thing is, we can transform into anything and anyone, and our faces change.
Your
whether we're piercing or reaching or pulling, or what quality of movement.
Yeah.
And I think you do it. And I had forgotten about the first class where I asked you to breathe in front and like allow. Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because so much was happening in your body.
Yeah.
As a gift.
I had a teacher, a Chekhov teacher, who I think was trying to teach me that, but he was doing it in an overly intellectualized way. Not to put anyone down, but it didn't quite work for me. I needed someone to just say, you're enough. When I discovered Chekhov, I realized fairly early on, this does not only apply to acting, it applies to life. I think a lot of this overthinking manifested in many aspects of my life, not just acting, many aspects. And each time I found myself, for example, rewriting the same draft over and over and thinking, obsessively asking people, what do you think? What do you think? Do you like it? Okay, he didn't like it, but she liked it. And he liked this part, but they didn't like that part. So I keep trying to rewrite things or re-edit the movies or redo my takes to please everyone, you know, thinking there must be an objectively good way to do things and I need to find it. That's my job. And if I don't, I'm a failure, you know. But with Chekhov, he was saying like the truest art that is transformative, that which is done with a sense of ease, done with a sense of beauty, done with a sense of the whole. I also realized in my writing, I'm not here to impress anyone. And if they don't like the damn piece, then they don't like it. It's not for them. You know, I love that saying, like every book, every story, every play is written for one person. And you just got to find that one person. Like if it's resonating with you, it's going to resonate for that one person. And if it resonates with that one person, it might resonate with a lot of people, a substantial amount. And you just have to be true to you. So when I'm doing things, am I asking myself, am I doing this with a sense of ease? No, it's not easy anymore. It's probably not really me. And the job of ours is to differentiate what is like perfecting and working hard and refining and trying to be someone else, trying to be something you're not, trying to impress people and gain people's attention and love and approval. And then similar to that first moment I had with you, you have nothing to prove. You're enough.
And also like thinking, I don't think they're wrong choices. Different choices tell a different story.
Exactly.
And then we can refine what is the story we want to tell.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a million ways to skin a cat. You know, sorry, that sounded really violent. But you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. There's many ways. And
not skinning any cats.
Yeah, not that we're skinning cats. Yeah. But in your classes, I love that you can give us a lot of options. You say, okay, that was great. Try it like this now.
Yeah.
And what if we tried it like this?
Yeah.
You know?
And then we can decide what is the story.
Experiment, discover, and decide. Yeah.
Because different how will tell that moment differently. And then we can start looking like what's the how that tells the story that we decide to tell.
Right. 100%. Yeah. So you're essentially just the facilitator of that. You're giving people options and choices. You're kind of seeing it from the outside and then helping people uncover those choices, discover them and live them in a real life principle. So
I could talk with you a long time. There's a lot to talk.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I'm also learning. You know, this is the first time we are doing this. So it's like so much.
You should hear from your students about you. And I'm sure you do, but in this format, I think it's a good way to extend it and for me to go into depth about all the things I think that you're doing very well and vice versa.
What is your book called?
It's an urban fantasy graphic novel series. It was inspired by pre-colonial Philippine mythology. So it's a fantasy series, and it's like a big multi-POV cast with lots of women characters. It addresses issues like mental health and colonialism and intergenerational trauma, and there's ghosts and demons and magic and sorcerers and warriors and everything. There's 2 storylines from the past and the present. It's called The Mask of Halia. The first volume is called Heir to the Warrior Moon, and then the second one that's coming out is called Echoes of the Forgotten Past. It's about a young girl who's 17. She goes back to her roots, to the Philippines. She was raised in America for her grandma's funeral. She's very troubled by inner demons. And she discovers she's the heir to a mythical heirloom, a mask that runs in her family that imbues her with the powers of a pre-colonial moon goddess. And so as soon as she gains those powers, different agents of darkness start stalking her every move, and everyone is kind of in a race to try and utilize her power. And she discovers that she's caught up between a battle between the world of the underworld and the world of the shamans and gods and goddesses. Yeah,
I immediately want to make a movie of this or like a theater play. Like
they were
what
trying
fun.
to make a movie. They got some filmmakers and producers in, and I wrote scripts, and then you know how it is. They cut out the writer and they try to bring in a studio. So that's the life, That's how it is.
But
I'm trying to make my own things now.
Yeah.
I am writing a full-length play. It's called The Lilith, elevator pitch. It's like Black Swan meets The Crucible. It takes place in 1630s Boston, Massachusetts. All right, so the log line is, a strange and dangerous woman's arrival in 1630s Boston affects the lives of 3 guilt-ridden individuals. Sorry, that doesn't sound as interesting, but it's kind of, it's like a psychological horror, supernatural, and it's a period piece. Yeah. So it's written in Old English, kind of like The Witch, like Robert Eggers, who I'm obsessed with. I love Robert Eggers. So I'm writing a period piece, and I'm working on some animated pilots because I want to work in animation as well. I'm working on some children's stories, trying to get those published, and I'm in a show right now. So
what's the show?
The Immersive Theater Show is with Downtown Rep, and it's called Noir. Every year they put on performances at the Heritage Square Museum and at the Mausoleum in Altadena, although that area burned down. So this year it's going to be in downtown, Center Stage Theater. But
so how long can we see you in the show? Because I don't know how soon this is edited.
So opening night is tonight. So we're going.
And today is
Saturday the 16th.
August
of
16th. Yeah.
So tonight is opening night. We're on weekends, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday until
For
the
how
end
long?
of this.
How many?
Well, first run is till the end of this month. Second run is like end of September to early November.
Oh, great.
On Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays.
Great.
So there's gonna be a lot of performances.
Oh, wonderful.
So if you guys want to immerse yourself in a 1940s murder mystery Hollywood film noir.
And see Kaitlyn on stage.
And see me playing a torch singer from New York or whatever the hell we are.
Follow Kaitlyn on social media. She's an amazing singer, writer, actor, all sorts of awesomeness. A beautiful human being.
Aw, thank you. And you should definitely check out Chekhov Studio International with the fabulous Marjo-RiikkaMäkelä. I don't know if I said that right.
Yeah.
Because she's an amazing teacher. She will help you tap into your innermost abilities, your intuitive sense of passion and art, and she'll help you translate it into something beautiful. I've worked with her for years. She's amazing.
Love you.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.